Hey friend, so tell me if this sounds familiar. You start a new creative project. Maybe it's a painting, a short story or a novel, or even a YouTube channel. And the ideas are flowing. You're in the zone and you're having fun. But then all of a sudden, you start focusing on other things not related to the creative project at hand. Maybe you start watching tutorials trying to perfect your technique, or you get bogged down in spreadsheets trying to get the perfect content calendar, track your stats, or optimize your workflow. And before you know it, that thing that brought you joy, it starts to feel like another job. Have you ever felt that way? Like your new creative project turned into a checklist? Like your play and joy somehow morphed into pressure? Today, I want to talk about how over-optimizing our creativity can slowly drain the life out of it, and what we can do to bring back the joy. So let's talk about how we got here. There's this thing I like to call creative productivity culture. It's where hustle culture meets the creator economy, and suddenly everyone feels like they have to do something with their passion or their creative hobbies. And I'm speaking from experience here. And social media just makes it worse. We're constantly seeing other creatives posting their behind the scene workflows, morning routines, monetization wins. Like everyone has a Notion dashboard and a passive income funnel now. And don't get me wrong, productivity has its place. But when it becomes the point of the creative process, that's when we have lost the plot. And that's usually when we start to get burnt out. And there was this article in the Harvard Business Review that said people who tie their identity to their creative work often end up more stressed out and overwhelmed, because it then becomes not just about the work anymore. It's about proving yourself through the work. Take, for example, a hobbyist painter who just loved painting and playing with colors and now has decided to monetize this. So now she's logging her hours, analyzing engagements, and wondering if she's improving fast enough. Suddenly, her art studio feels more like a performance review than a sanctuary. And let's break this down a little more. When we overstructure our creative time, it squeezes out all of the spontaneity and takes away some of the beauty and fun. I used to make jewelry just because it felt good and I liked looking at all of the beautiful beads and putting them together into something even more beautiful. But the moment I started thinking, should I turn this into a business? I lost interest. It stopped being fun for me. And that is the downfall of turning play into work. And have you ever felt guilty for not creating? Like you took a day off and suddenly you're questioning your dedication? I felt bad for skipping a day or not meeting an internal deadline. I felt like I should be spending all of my free time creating. But creativity doesn't work like that. It's not a factory. It's not something that can be very strictly structured and optimized. And there's actual research on this. Studies on intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation show that when we start focusing on results, views, likes, money, we often lose interest in the activity itself. So basically, capitalism is ruining your creative process, and you should just focus on doing things for fun, not trying to be productive. Because in the creator economy, it's easy to feel like you have to turn your passion into a paycheck, but not everything has to be a business. And this can happen to anyone. Like you could start out experimenting and having fun and then pivot to only creating in the style that performs well. And then you'll end up feeling stuck, like you're creating for an algorithm, not for yourself. And psychologists actually warn against this too. When we chase external validation over internal joy, the work can start to feel hollow. even if it's successful. Okay, so how do we get out of this trap? First, separate creativity from output. Give yourself permission to create badly. Seriously, Neil Gaiman talks about writing awful first drafts on purpose just to get the ideas flowing. Perfection is not the goal. Joy, creativity, and play is. Second, prioritize creative rest. Don't overschedule every moment of your day. Let your mind wander, daydream, rest, and recharge. And Salvador Dali did this through micro naps. He would drift off while holding a spoon, and just as he was getting into his, that good part of your sleep, the spoon would fall and wake him up. And I think he did this because he knew that the dreamlike space was a gold mine for creativity. And it turns out science backs this up. When we're resting, especially in those daydreamy, unfocused states, our brain activates something called the default mode network. That's when we connect the dots, solve problems, and spark new ideas. So yeah, boredom and daydreaming is actually useful. So make sure you're taking some time to get some rest. And the last thing I want to talk about is redefining success. Instead of measuring your creativity by likes, money, or virality, ask yourself, did this feel fulfilling? Did it bring me joy? And a lot of the great writers like N.K. Jemisin, Octavia Butler, Toni Morrison, they wrote for themselves before anyone else ever read it. And the success came later. But the heart and the dedication and the joy was already there. So here's the bottom line. Creativity doesn't always need to be productive. It doesn't have to make money. It doesn't have to go viral. Sometimes the best thing you can do is create just because it feels good to play, to rest, to be. So here's my question to you. Are you actually enjoying your creative process, or are you just optimizing it? Take a few moments to reflect on that and let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this resonated with you, send this to a fellow creative who needs to be reminded of this. We don't create because it brings us money, external validation, likes. We do it because it's our birthright. So go out, have fun, and create. And I will see you in the next video.